to use the word deserted or left behind, but that might be the case. We pray for them today for their safety, and they'll get out of there with good health and not be harmed, and they get home soon. It's a big story in the world today. We all have our own little stories, our little corner of the world. That's a huge one. Today, I'm elated to be doing my work. I love being a sportscaster. I will never retire. People say, Henry T., how about the word retirement? Isn't it about time? I don't even know the definition of the word. Here we are, I've left radio and regular TV, and they, like The Godfather, they keep trying to pull me in, and I love it. Pull me some more. I've met some great people in my career. I mean, super great, with a capital G, great. One of them is on the show today. In fact, when I closed down my TV career and opened my radio career, this was the very first guy that came my way and said, Henry T., can I help? Man, did I need the help. I ventured into an area I didn't know anything about. I knew how to report the game, but how do you run a radio station? Wow, that was big. But one guy that recognized my dilemma, he's on today, and I love him like a brother. So good to me all these years. He's a lot of things. He's a business owner. He is, he kept racing going. He's the savior of racing in New Mexico. Gave everything he had to make sure the racers, the drivers, the mechanics had a place to do their fun work. And good guy, giver. There are two kinds of people in this world, givers and takers. He's the biggest giver you'll ever meet. I remember the hours he spent out there at Duke City Raceway, keeping racing alive. So all those famous names that you know, and many of you are out there in the audience right now, and I know every day you praise Chuck Jackson for what he did for you and all your buddies who used to get together and build a car and then go race it. And one guy would put the helmet on and he'd try his best to win that race on maybe the most clean, raceable raceway track on earth, because Chuck Jackson was out there early morning, go to his regular job, go back out there late afternoon. And I can see him now spraying down the track and then getting the food ready and just endless giving. I don't know if the guy ever slept in those days. We'll have to get a commentary from his wife. Was he ever home during those building block days for Albuquerque's racers? Again, he helped me out of the blocks of radio, my very first sponsor. And since then, he's always helping Henry T. He's a race driver himself. And man, he has a beautiful car, black, shiny. And when he gets in it, puts that helmet on, oh my goodness, does he look the part. We go to now to one of the famous New Mexicans who should be inducted into the Albuquerque Sports Hall of Fame for being the giver that he is. And all these years, that's all he's done for this community. Ladies and gentlemen, my close friend, Chuck Jackson, is on the phone today, he's on TV. There he is, that good looking guy. Chuck, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Henry. I appreciate that introduction. I mean, makes me sound like somebody that I would like to be, but me and you have been friends for many, 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 many years. And, the reason I've supported you through the years, Henry, is because you took care of the kids. I remember you'd come in doing the little league games and stuff. And I said, Henry, if you're going to do that for the kids, I certainly will support what you're doing. And, we've had a good relationship for 30 years, probably 20, 30 years anyway.
Wow.
About, we both respect each other. I know the effort that you put into into the kids that you've done and so forth over the years. And so I really appreciate that, Henry. And, you're part of New Mexico sports history as well. So I'm glad to be here with you today and happy to talk to you about most anything. My wife
Hey,
probably,
what's the deal? You keep getting younger. I keep getting older. What's the formula?
Henry, I wish I could say it's Budweiser, but I don't think that does either of us any good anymore. I don't know. I've got a I've been very fortunate. I've worked hard, like you said, but I've been very fortunate. I've had good people around me. And, about staying young, I don't know if I'm feeling that much younger today than I did. Well, I'm getting older too, Henry, I guess the bottom line.
Well, you got so much energy. You run your great Jackson trucking company, Jackson Compaction. You do other things. You're constantly on the move. And there you are with all that energy all of the time. What do you attribute that energy to? Because really, I tell the accurate story, ladies and gentlemen. He was always on that track at Duke City Raceway and still on the move, and then has the energy left at the end of the week to hop in his race car, put the helmet on, and let's go racing with Chuck Jackson. That's a lot of energy that you need to do all that.
Henry, things are different nowadays than they were when me and you grew up. My mom and dad taught me how to work, and that's a lost art anymore. The kids today don't really learn how to work. I mean, I grew up in Grants, New Mexico, the uranium capital of the world, and my dad was a banker, and when he needed somebody to sweep the parking lots, me and my brother were on call when anybody in Grants needed weeds pulled. My dad always volunteered me and my brother and to go out and pull the weeds, and my sister worked hard too. As we got older, he bought a car wash there in Grants, and there were a lot of mud in Grants, and I shoveled a lot of it. So the work ethic comes, when you're 10, 15 years old, when you don't go do these other things until you get the job done. So, I have to give credit to my mom and dad for teaching me how to work.
Yay. How bad a situation was it? Speedway Park was down and out. The race driver, the race driving enthusiast in this community. What do we do? Where do we get it? You came to the rescue. Duke City Raceway saved the day for that industry in New Mexico. Tell us that dramatic story.
Well, Henry, we got to go back a little ways to somebody that I'm sure you remember, Frank Crosby. Frank was quite the promoter, the King Kong promoter in my book, for most events, including what he used to do down at Tingley Coliseum with a sports show and so forth. But Frank was a great promoter. And, as he got older, Imogene and Kenny Smith built Albuquerque Raceway. There was quite a battle between the racers that wanted to race at Speedway Park and the ones that wanted to race at Duke City. I think it was called Albuquerque Raceway at that point, but that was a pretty colorful time. A lot of things were going on. Eventually Speedway Park was closed down. I think the city grew around it, the base out there did it in, and so Duke City became the main a venue in this area, in this region. And as time went on, Imogene's husband passed away, A.L. Smith, and she was not a young gal anymore, and she was working real hard. And Sandia Motorsports Park was one of the things that I thought Albuquerque needed at the time. So me and a fellow by the name of Bruce Tomlinson acquired 60 acres up on the mesa out towards the dump, and we got the zoning and everything put together to build a racetrack, and we just didn't have enough money to get it accomplished. So we took in some investors. A lot of them were sports car enthusiasts and and road course enthusiast, and built a great facility up on 9 Mile Hill, but it was a pavement facility, and the situations turned this way and that way, and I was able to visit with Imogene, and I made a deal with her, and I bought Duke City Raceway, and we ran Duke City for 3 or 4 years there, and I thought we had it turned around and doing pretty well. There again, the neighborhood association down there didn't like the noise, they didn't like the dirt, and so on and so forth. So we had to make a decision at that point. Of course, you look up north of town. I don't know how many of you remember, but we had a Taj Mahal racetrack built at San Felipe Pueblo behind their casino up there, Hollywood Hills. And it really looked, talk about a magnificent facility. It looked like that was going to be the dirt track racing place in New Mexico for many years to come. And of course, issues have converted that back into open space at this point in time. But we ran Duke City until 2003, I believe. And then between the zoning people and the neighborhood association up there, they wanted me to build a barrier around the whole racing facility to kind of contain the noise and excuse me, just things that were not in my pocketbook availabilities to do. So, we figured that Hollywood Hills would continue the dirt side of the racing, and Sandy was taking care of the road racers and the motorcycle enthusiasts and the paved asphalt enthusiasts. So Duke City kind of went away there in 2003. But that's kind of a brief scenario of the racing here in town. We've got you're talking about King Kong racers here in New Mexico. We've got a guy down in Las Cruces. He's a very good friend of mine and a real nice fellow by the name of Royal Jones. Has a tremendous trucking company, Mesilla Valley Transportation, but he's built a new track down there, and that's a really nice place. That's where we go race quite a bit. We were down there Saturday night. We're going down there for a 2-day show this Labor Day weekend. But, racing has had its ups and downs in New Mexico. It was down pretty severely I would say in the late 90s. Car counts were a little bit off, and Imogene was having, some difficulty keeping everything rolling up there at her place. So, we did what we needed to do. I've had a blast doing it. I've made hundreds of friends. I never was a very good race car driver, but I really enjoyed doing that. And I finally stepped out of the car this year. I'm glad I can still walk and talk and get around real good. We put a 15-year-old young man in the car who's been with us since he was in diapers. Just kind of I don't know what you'd call Jonathan. He's just a great kid. And he's been with me and my cousin Stan for the last 13 years, and we put him in the car this year. He doesn't have a driver's license, but tell you what, he can drive that sprint car really well around the racetrack, and he's coming along real strong. And we're having fun. He's over there working on the car this morning. I think he's got teachers or doing a convention or something, so he's working on it. And I'll get to put him together and get everything roll down there Saturday morning. We'll race Saturday night. We'll spend the night somewhere down there, oftentimes in the trailer, but we'll spend the night somewhere, and we'll get up Sunday and clean everything up, and we'll go again Sunday night. And they had 19 cars down there last Saturday, and Jonathan started 16th and finished 8th, so he's moving forward. We're tickled with that, and we're looking forward to going down there. When I race, if I start 16th, I generally end 19th, so the kid's going the other way in the car, and that's a lot of fun, and we're enjoying it.
Well, you'll probably groom him into having sights of Indianapolis, and knowing you, because you're such a motivator, people love being around you. You give that positive energy. Does he have those aspirations?
His aspirations, he wants to go to Knoxville, Iowa, and run with the World of Outlaws, and he'd like to making the main event at the Knoxville Nationals would be great if he could win it. He wants to win everything. He's 15 years old. And when he goes, we load him up in the car and he's getting ready to push off. He says, I'm going to go kick everybody's butt tonight. You watch me. And he does. He has fun. So he's got the right attitude. He's he's not scared, doesn't have any common sense, I guess you'd call it. It goes in full blast. And, that's what it takes if you're going to be a race car driver. If you ask any of those guys that have made it successful in this venue, it takes a lot of courage to go into into the corner faster than you think you can go and hold on and come out the other end. And when you really get good is when you can turn the car up and down the racetrack in those corners. And
Wow.
We're working on it, and he's doing well with it.
I mean, seriously, I know you're a humble man, but as much as you worked on that Duke City Raceway track, how good was it for those drivers? Because, man, it looked smooth. By the end of the night, it was shiny. It was, man, it just looked inviting. How good was your track?
I think every racetrack promoter, that's his main goal, is to have, a great racetrack for the drivers to run on. Duke City, when we got out there, clay is a trick for a racetrack. You've got to have something that holds the moisture, becomes tackier as it dries up. It's slicker and snot on a doorknob when it's all greasy and wet. But we had a great racetrack. We brought in a lot of clay from the Rio Perco Basin. That's where most of the clay for the racetracks around here has come from, including Hollywood Hills and the new dirt track up at Sandia. All the clays come from the Rio Perco Basin. It's really nice clay. And, at Duke City, I thought we were hitting it on the head pretty good there, especially the last couple of years, because we were having some great races. We had the ASCS National Tour here on the 4th of July weekend. We had a big Memorial Day madness for the modifieds, a Labor Day. We had 2 special nights for the modifieds. We'd bring in 50, 60 cars for those events. We did some, I guess you call them enduros. We'd have 75 cars. We had the full track full of cars, and we had people in those cars that had never been in a race car before, and it was the most fun they ever had in their lives. I had some of my employees, we'd go down to the salvage yard and buy them a car and get it running and stuff, and do the safety stuff that we needed to do to the car, and they'd get in there and they'd just come to work, and they couldn't quit talking about it for a week or two. They had so much fun. So our goal was to have fun at the racetrack. That's why we do it, for fun.
Well,
and, we really try to go to the racetrack and have a good time. And if we're having a good time, if somebody wants to come hang out with us or they want to come see us, we're going to make them have a good time too. I mean, granted, I do have my moments when, it's going to go this way or we got to do this. And it's not all a gravy train, but 95% of the time I'm there having fun. And
yeah, as long as you're affiliated with it, it's going to be moving up, and it's going to be on the front of everybody's mind if you're a racing enthusiast. What is the future of racing in our state right now, Chuck?
Well, you've got this new track down at Vado, Royal Jones, and that track's going to bring in the World of Outlaws. Have already had the World of Outlaw late model show. Royal's going to do some real nice stuff with the track down there. Our track up here in Albuquerque is a beautiful, beautiful facility. Charlie Fagan is the operator at that track at this point in time. And, we're working on getting bigger, stronger car counts and making it a better place. But it's a work in progress. And it's difficult to try to put everything together on the budget that we're working with up there. But I hope that things get better here in Albuquerque. And it should be. There's a lot of racing enthusiasts here in town. There's a lot of people that want to participate and so forth. So hopefully, we're working towards getting a better program going here in Albuquerque. We have raced up in Aztec a couple times this year. They've got a nice little racetrack up there. Roswell has got a Alien Speedway. Jeremy Pipes is running that show down there, and they're starting to pick up some enthusiasm down there. Dirt track racing in general, I think, is making a little revival around the country. It was kind of in the doldrums there in the late 90s, and early 2000s, but you're seeing more and more interest. You're seeing Kyle Larson, King Kong Kyle Larson, man, the best that's maybe ever lived. And he's only in his 20s, I think. But,
Wow.
you know, he's winning everything on NASCAR. He's winning all the dirt track races. And the more you get that crossover, the more people are coming back to the local racetracks. You know, we're seeing bigger crowds and more enthusiasm. And, you know, my hope is that it continues to grow that way. I don't know if we're going to be racing electric cars here in a few years or not, but that may be what's coming, you know.
Wow.
You know, I got your eyes open there, didn't we, Henry?
Yeah.
Electric cars are coming.
I want to see that. Hey, Chuck, I love you when you compete. You're humble about your abilities to race, but you have a large fan base. When you get in your black car, you get that helmet on, you look for real. How much fun is being a race driver?
You know, it's about as much fun as I've ever had, Henry. I remember many nights when I'd pull in the car and put it in, you know, pull it out of gear and coast up to the trailer and get out of the car, and I'd be shaking. I'd get out and I'd say, Stan, I've never had so much fun in my life as that last 15 minutes out there on the racetrack. And that's what it is. And, you know, not many people get to experience that. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're in a hobby stock car, a claimer, or Indy car. The thrill is there. And, you know, I think people that really want to live a life to the fullest, if you're interested in motorsports at all, you got to get yourself a car and put it together. There's a lot of people that'll help you, and it's an experience that you just won't find anywhere else. I've been skidooing and all kinds of different crazy things all my life, but getting in the car, it's as much fun as you can have.
Well, I tell you, I respect your words, but I keep seeing the danger factor. Is it dangerous?
Only if you hit something, Henry. You know, you know, it's a dangerous sport. I mean, in our cars, which is sprint cars, we're tied up there. I always call it you're a peanut in a shell, because you've got a pretty sturdy shell around you. You're tied in the car. Nowadays we have Hans devices that keep our necks from falling out of joint and so on and so forth. And it's relatively safe, but I hit the wall one time up at Sandia, and I've never hit anything that hard in my life, and it hurt. And you know, you're knocked out of breath, and you know, it's a strange situation to hit something as hard as you can get hit in a race car. Just don't have it happen very often.
Amen.
You're better off.
In our final moments here, you have created something in this city that everybody needs, every household. Everybody wants their yard organized. They want it clean. They want that clean look, tidy. Sometimes we become hoarders and never throw anything away, and our yards don't look too good. Well, you've devised an idea where you can put one of your dumpers in the driveway for a weekend, and everybody just throws everything in there, and then presto, the yard is clean, it's organized, and then you do the dirty work and take it away. What an idea.
Well, Henry, it's you know, we weren't the original ones with that idea. Our idea was to go to the smaller cans. You know, there was a lot of commercial haulers with 30 cubic yard dumpsters around, and you know, we kind of looked around when we first got into the business, and we're looking for something a little bit unique, and we started with smaller containers. 10, 15, and 20 yard containers is what we started out with, and they were a smaller truck. They were easy to place. We bought good late model equipment that worked well, and that's what we developed our business on. But my employees, there again, it's the employees are what makes your business. I've got the best dispatcher in the country, in my opinion, working here. He's right here beside me, so I know he can hear me. And you know, my drivers are fantastic. They're polite, they're kind, they're courteous. So that business has done well. And you know, a part of our business that, if we're going to talk about business a little bit, that that really shines that nobody knows about is our compactor and Baylor business. And that's the quiet side of the garbage business. That's the equipment behind the grocery store, behind the Walmarts, that they throw all their trash in, and then it packs the trash, and it allows a hauler to haul 3 to 4 times the amount of material he would if the trash wasn't compacted. So that's really the main part of our business, even larger than the roll-off part of our business. And I was very fortunate there. I have good help, good people. The manager in that business has been doing it for as long as I've been in the truck business. He's the same age I am, and he's been doing it forever. And he runs a real good show, and we've been extremely successful with that business. There again, you take care of the customers. You don't lie to anybody, Henry. That's one of the things I stick with real good is you tell the truth and you don't have to remember what you said. So
Amen.
we try to tell people it's either it's white or black. If it's great, we'll tell you it's great. If we got a problem, we'll tell you we got a problem, and just be square with people, and you can generally be successful. You may not always put the ching in your pocket, but you get the respect of people, and the rest of it takes care of itself over the years.
Well, you got integrity. People love you, respect you, and they really trust you, Chuck. You served thousands of people all of your life. I don't even know if there's a word retirement. You aware of that?
Well, Henry, I think you're talking, I had a big auction here in May. I was in the heavy duty truck salvage business is what I did all my life. I bought this business in 1980. And I've been in the truck salvage business in the 80s, 70s, 80s. You can make a lot. You can be stupid and make money in this business. And fortunately, I was in this business because I was able to make a little bit of money.
God bless.
But the times have changed. Everything's computer oriented. You can buy whatever you want on the computer these days. Trucks are like cars. They're all electronic nowadays, and you have to be a computer technician to do the work and stuff on them. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall. The garbage business had taken off real well. So I had an auction in May of this year, and I sold everything. Come see me. I think you were in the other day. It's empty in here nowadays.
Wow.
But, I'm not retired. I still have the garbage business going, and it's doing very well. I am not working quite as hard as I used to, Henry. In fact, when you called me, I told you I was going fishing, and I'm still going fishing. I just haven't made it out of the office yet. But I try to get up and get out of here a couple times a week. And
last but certainly not least, you have a beautiful woman that's been by your side for a long time. How important is the love factor and support factor for a guy like you?
I've got an independent wife. She's a great gal. And, I often say the reason we've been successful is because I didn't have to change what I was doing, and she didn't have to change what we were doing, and we worked together. She's a great gal. She lets me do the things that I need to do. She's super talented artist, as you probably are aware of.
Yeah.
She's got her studio in the back of the junkyard here, and she's got her group of friends that she works with. And so she has a good time doing what she's doing. She allows me to have a good time doing what I'm doing. We go home at night and we joke about it and we talk about it, and we get up in the morning and just been very fortunate. I've got great kids too. They're all grown up now and doing their own thing. But when we were back at Duke City, my boy used to go down there and work his tail off, and my daughter, she would go down and sing the national anthem with my wife. So
wow.
It was a family operation there for years at
Beautiful.
Duke City. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you for this entire state, and especially the racing community, sports fans all together who have followed you around. Hey, there's a big race tonight. Let's go. The food's going to be good. It's going to be organized. It's going to start on time. It's going to end on time. It'll be colorful. The lighting is great. You've always put on a good show, Chuck. On behalf of thousands, I say thank you to you, Mr. Jackson.
Well, thank you, Henry. You've done a great deal for New Mexico as well. So thank you as well, Henry. I think people like you keep the world rolling.
Hey, are you going fishing today, really?
Yeah, I'm going fishing today. Really, I don't ever catch any fish, but me and the fish have a deal. If I don't catch them, I don't have to let them go. If I do get lucky to catch one, I let it go anyway.
And he's a comedian, ladies and gentlemen. Good guy, Chuck Jackson. And one of these days, don't be surprised if he is inducted into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame for all that he's done for all of you. Wow, what a day. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And how about them Lobos? I think the football team is going to do some damage this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Lobo football and basketball coming up this year.
Man, I'm glad you said that. One of your neighborhood kids, Danny Gonzalez, comes back home to be the head coach. What a story.
Yeah, what a story. And we got Rocky on the sideline. You know, I'm excited about Lobos athletics. We're gonna raise some eyebrows here in the next couple of years.
I agree. And all around sports fan, Chuck Jackson. Say hi to your wife. We'll see you soon, Chuck.
Okay, Henry. Thank you. Have a
Take
good
care.
afternoon, morning, whatever.
All right, man. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Good guy. And certainly one of those, I would just say, down to earth New Mexicans who's been very successful because of the big heart that he just showed you, a giver. Wow, what a story. You know, we're going to talk to another New Mexican right now, graduate of New Mexico State University, one of the greatest basketball players ever. But first we got to get those sponsors up. Amistoy Drywall. Oh my goodness, are they good to me? Yeah. Amistoy Drywall. Then they even build homes today. They still have the drywall, but man, they do so much. And the two boys, oh man, are they great. You talk about great families, and they are big in the horse racing business. Two great racing stories there. And we have Ben Lucero out there at Indigo Mortgage, who loves sports, loves what we do. And another one who was one of the original sponsors for Henry T. throughout the years. Yeah, Pierre Amistoy was right there with his dad, helping Henry T. get the kids on the air. And then Ben Lucero, a great athlete himself, came this close to making the Olympic team as a high jumper. Went to the University of Missouri, was a star athlete at Mayfield, all the sports. He even invented a sport to make sure that he was voted the all-around athlete at Mayfield High School. Great guy. And of course, we've got the Tabbitt family, Richie and Kenny Tabbitt. Richie, former football star at Berlin High School. In fact, we're going to get him in here and talk about the state championship team that he played on. He was the quarterback of the team. Great guy. Everybody loves and respects him too. And great businessman. We're going to get all these people on that have helped us all these years. So thank you. And Kevin out there at the canteen helping us. And Tim Baca selling all that delicious water out there. The Hydro Bar. Wow, what a story. What a story. And ProView Network, man, they're just endless and giving and giving and giving and putting on the local athlete so you can watch that local athlete play. Thank you, Steve Davis, from the bottom of our heart. Anyway, now we go to a guy that wore number 52 as a New Mexico State Aggie. And maybe the Lobos have had some great teams, no question. But the greatest, most exciting college team in the history of sports in our great state, how about that team of 1970 that featured Sam Lacey, Charlie Chris, Jimmy Connors. How's that for a start, huh? And then Jimmy Connors. Did I say the tennis player? I mean Jimmy Collins, Henry T. And Chito Reyes, academic All-American, first team academic All-American. Great guy. And he's our friend today. We get him on at least once a month or twice a month because it doesn't matter what we talk about. It's all going to be great advice and interesting and funny and with a lot of love behind it. He's with us right now. A good-looking guy from Southern New Mexico, Chito Reyes, number 52. Let's see the jump shot from deep in the right corner. How are you, Chito?
Good morning. Good morning, Henry. How are you guys? Hello to New Mexico too, and everybody over there. How's everybody?
Healthy, thank God.
Good, good.
Fired up like you always. What brings that fire out of you every day?
You know what? I just think the most important thing is we're blessed to be here, Henry. You know, every day we have to get up and open that door, those windows, and look outside and be grateful. Man, it's just, I was doing that this morning, just open the door and it's a nice breeze, and it's going to get hot today here in LA, all over the place, you know, but, you know, just give thanks for what we have. You were feeling blessed. I think I'd rather feel blessed than be down and kind of think I'm going to have a bad day. You know, those days are gone. You know, I've learned how to kind of sort those small things out. You know, I'm just, you know, you worry about all the people, for example, that's going on through that hurricane, and we pray for those, you know, and that's when you start realizing how blessed you are, you know, because there's people that are going through some rough times right now, and we got to feel blessed that we're here to talking to you here in front of everybody, and you know, we're blessed. It's just a good thing, and God's given us some beautiful times, and like I said, let's pray that all those people are safe, and we just get, you know, we just got kind of take it easy and pray that everybody else is safe. We're all happy.
Yesterday, I was recalling and counting my blessings and remembering Mama, how many things she did for me, and what a character, funny, loving, giving, never stopped being a parent till the end, till she went to heaven. And I know how much you love your mama. God bless you. Yeah. You still have her.
Yes.
And I want to start there today with you. There's never really a guideline or what are we going to talk about today plan with you, because you know so much and you give so much and you're interesting, you know a little bit about everything. But I want to ask you to describe your mom today for all of us. I want to do that because so many of us get so overwhelmed in what we do every day as a professional or whatever, and inadvertently we put little mom over in the corner when she's the forefront character in our lives.
Yes.
If it's not too private, who is your mom to you?
You know, Henry, I think, you know, we all feel our mom is the best. My mom makes the best menudo, the best chile con carne, the best tortillas to our mom. Our mom is the best, you know that. But I think that, I think the most important thing, like with my mother, is that she's kind of instilled a reason for caring. She wants you to care. And not that you have to be forced to care, but seeing her, you know, she's the type of person that she can walk into a doctor's office in the waiting room, and next thing you know, there's somebody's got a little girl in there, and the next thing you know, my mom's got that little girl on her lap. Oh. You know, we've been a lot of places where, you know, every time we all lose siblings, we all lose aunts, uncles, grandparents, and you know, this is the true story, Henry. People come, you know, they give their condolences, but every time they come around my mother and they ask, can we adopt you? Can you be our mom? Now there's a reason for that. And my mom is not you know, that one that's, you know, magical powers or whatever. It's just the heart that she has. And I think it spreads throughout. And you don't have to have materialistic things. You don't have to have a lot of things that you can show off. And that doesn't count. My mom always taught us, you know, like I told you before, that I mentioned this before, that as an advice, when we start, you know, our 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 19-year-old as a young kid, especially when I was going to start at New Mexico State, I was about to embark on a venture that incredible. Who would have known that it would have led me to where I am now? But I remember one thing that I was told by my mother and my grandmother, that, you know, that they told me, look, you know, you're a good, strong young man. You're young and you're growing. You know, be nice to people. She said, but don't ever stop growing until you get to heaven. You know, and there's a path that you get to get up there, and only certain people you can recognize that, and there's a reason why you can take those steps. And you know what, you can't go wrong in trying to help people. And I think my mom was the best thing that she kind of taught us, was the fact that we got to keep it. We should care. Don't disrespect anybody, you know, and just enjoy. If there's somebody gave you a piece of tortilla, you know, a piece of bologna, they always taught us, look, you look at them in the eye and be sure that you make that eye contact and thank them for what they're doing for you. You know, it could be the smallest little thing. I bet it's things that you learn to appreciate from them, you know.
Wow. And your mom is so friendly, so loving, and everybody loves your mom.
Yeah.
And what a cook.
Yeah.
You know, you got a great looking family, physically great looking family. And your mom is beautiful.
Yeah.
You give her that compliment for him.
My mom, before you know it, like, she called you mijo. Everybody is my mom's mijo, my mom's mija, you know, and it's amazing because you feel it. You feel it. She doesn't throw it out there like that, and she really means it. She cares. She told you, hey, Henry, I'm gonna cook for you. I'm gonna make you some tortillas. I'm gonna make you some frijoles de loya, you know, and chile verde con carne and all this stuff. And she means it, because I swear she may not have a lot of other stuff, but she can give you a perfect dozen of flour tortillas or some chile verde con carne, you know. And I'm so proud of my mom, you know, because it's, you know, I to all of us, like I told you before, to all of us, our mom is the best. She makes the best menudo, the best tacos, everything. And it's good to feel that. It's good to feel a love for somebody special, because this is the one that brought us into this world, the one that gave us our feelings, the one that gave us this mentality, this heart, this strength that within. You know, I remember a long time ago that I suffered a knee injury right out of college, and I wasn't ready for that, man. I was about to embark on an international tour in Mexico, and I shattered my knee. And man, it was like, and back then they didn't have any of this orthoscopic surgery or anything like that. I remember I had to fly home. I had my surgery down in El Paso, and then I had to fly home. I kind of rehab here in LA with my mom and dad, of course, you know. And I remember I was starting to get depressed a little bit, feeling, because all of it, you know, I always thought I was Tarzan and King Kong all in one, you know, and I found out that I wasn't. And when I was trying to rehab, I started feeling a little down, and hey man, that doesn't happen to me. I'm not supposed to be like this. And my knees all shattered. And I remember doing the rehab, and my mom came to me one time, and she saw me down, and she sat next to me in the bed, and she told me, said, "Mijo, look, you know, there's something that you got to understand. This is part of something happened to you, but look, don't ever worry about anything. Whether if you think that one day people are gonna, not gonna be able to pay this or pay that because of what you're happening. If they're gonna throw you out on the curb, on that curb is gonna be your dad, your brother, your sister, and myself. There's a bond that you're not ever gonna break. And those are the most important things that when you start realizing that and believing that that's what who you really are, and that's what you have. treasure that. And I think to me, it's given me so many blessings that I've, throughout my travels and playing a lot of people, Henry, I want to, not to get out the subject with my mom, but everywhere I've been, I make friends, and it always seems if my mom always pops up, the subject always with my mother. And even like at New Mexico State, all the guys knew about my mom's cooking. And, everywhere I went, where my mom was available, she sent burritos. She sent that to all these guys from back east, from New York, and they'd be fighting for these burritos. I would say, and what a gift, and then when we had reunions there in New Mexico State, and all the guys come over and hug her and thank her, you got to eat tortillas in your purse or something, that type of thing. But she's special. We go back to the same thing. Then, like I said to everybody, everybody's their own mom is special. But I'd like to think that mom she's a star. She's a star in her family.
Can I add a word to describe your mom?
Sure.
How about angel?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of ironic in the sense that I hope your listeners aren't too bored with this subject, but I think we all go through this, getting off the sports subject. Whether it's coincidence or she was placed there, we've had a lot of people have passed away in our families, in our and some way somehow my mom finds herself at bedside by my uncle's passing, by my grandma's passing, by my grandfather's passing. My mom is the one right there at their side, and she feels it, and she kind of takes on that thing. Okay, it's going to be okay now. It's okay to go. It's okay. And my mom is always there. I don't know what to think, but I mean, easy. She's been there 10, 15, 20 times with people at their bedside. And, and I'm so proud of the fact that my mom is not, like I said, she's not the most, loud, impressive, boisterous mother. She's not. But she's like you said, she's an angel, to all of us.
When you were a star for the New Mexico State Aggies, the Pan American Center is packed, and big game against UTEP or the Lobos or whoever, and you look in the stands, you always look for mom. Yeah. How much did she enjoy watching you play? How much did you enjoy making her smile when you played?
My mother, I was so blessed that when I was at the freshman and the sophomore and throughout my career at New Mexico State, also my grandmother had a great part in my life. And to see two angels in the stands watching me, it was really incredible. And I would like to think that my grandmother, like I said, she passed away at a very young age, and she saw us play there when the first games of the Pan American Center. My mom came from LA to watch us play. And it takes the pride, because not only on the court, Henry, did you ever feel that you wanted to do good for them, but off their court, out on the street, out on the, anywhere you wanted to do good, because, like I told you before, my church member, my grandmother welcomed me down to New Mexico, right, coming out of LA and starting my career in New Mexico State. She also told me, she said, "Mijo, you know what? You're starting on a good career." He said, all I'm asking you is don't ever come tell me how good you are. Let other people come tell me. And not that you're a good ball player, but that you're a good man, because what you tell me doesn't count, and so that's all you worry about. I tell the story about, I had a director's meeting, and I was out in a shirt and tie, and just as I'm leaving, it's 100 degrees, and I'm leaving the parking lot, and I'm walking back I'm going to drive back to my office, and there was a lady right next to me, and about an 80-year-old lady. She came up to knocking on my window. Just I'm getting ready to go back, and she knocked on the window, and I opened it up. She asked me if I'd help her because her car had a flat tire. It was 112 degrees out there. And I looked at her and I said, and on one shoulder was my grandma and the other shoulder was my mom. And they're the ones that still, you know what? You better not even leave this parking lot. You better go help that lady. And, you know, and it's things that you do like that, the influence that comes from them that you treasure. And it's not something you can describe. And like I said, I've traveled all over the world. I've been so blessed to, you know, be travel with the Olympic team and travel internationally, played in all the, and everywhere I went, it's always a thing that you got in your shirt pocket. You got that in your back pocket. That's something nobody can ever take away, Henry. That's really special.
Another thing they can't take away is your Final Four ring back in 1970.
Yeah.
And had Sam Lacey not gotten hurt early in the game, ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe we would have seen our Aggies become national champions.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. How do you feel about that?
Oh, definitely. You know what? Without a doubt, I'm not saying that for sure we would have won, but I tell you what, we would have given them a better game because of the fact that you know, to have one of our strongest weapons be taken away from us, you know, and to see Sam and Jimmy and Charlie. Well, you met Jimmy and Charlie, you know, like this, and the kind of characters they are. And they weren't about to get beaten, you know. So we were going to ready for a bigger fight, and who knows, Henry? You know, they would have been awesome. I mean, we think about that a lot. But you know, but to be up there in front of everybody and to be put. Actually, everybody said that our semifinal game when we played UCLA was the national championship, really, because the next day it was back then they had the consolation game and for third place, and we really beat St. Bonaventure really bad with Bob Lanier and all of them. So it was a championship game that they came that close. Yeah. So
my goodness. Well, I love to go back in time because I love the way your presence was on that basketball court with those stars that you played with and the big crowds at the Pan Am Center. But being an All-American first team academic player, wow, that carries tremendous significance. Yeah. What does that mean?
I've always, like I said, it's not something that you brag about, you do anything, but you know what? It's something it's a feather in your cap. And I tell you what, I always strive to do good in whatever I try to do. But I was able to concentrate and to be able to do that. I knew I had to get good grades to be able to stay on the team. And not only that, like in everything you try to do, Henry, we try to do the best we can. You know, I when I was younger, I learned that there's an answer to this. There's to this question why you're asking me. So let me find out what this answer is. You know, and I was always curious. I always wanted to how do I go about doing this? I didn't want to answer 10 questions and get the answer right. I wanted to answer one and understand how I got that answer, because I could go on from there. Once I understand the methods and how to go about getting the answer or just look around, I strive for that, to do that, to be able to understand what I'm doing, because that's the whole purpose of studying. That's the whole purpose of learning. That's what they call you studying, you know, and you study to learn. You just don't study to get by, you know, to get the right answer. You study to understand and learn things about it, and it always gets back. And that's one thing that Coach Henson used to instill in us. He instilled a lot of, he wanted us to build strong character, moral character, and build a strong work ethic, and be able to go out there, because you're not only on the court, but then afterwards you can go out there and you're going to face challenges in life. And I think that's one thing he was preparing for us. You know, I talked to Mrs. Hanson, I still keep in contact with her. And she's so proud of the fact that of all of us that we still keep in touch. You know, of the 13 guys we had, we only have 8 left, you know. So we're going, you know, little by little. And so, but that's not going to take away the impact, the strong strong feelings and the closeness and the bond that we all had, you know. And Coach Henson had a lot to do with Mrs. Henson, and that's where we were, like being, like I said, going studying and being part of the All-American team. That's takes a lot of pride. And I was one thing I always talk about is that I was from the ranches at Stallman Farms. And I remember at 3rd and 4th grade, that yellow bus would take us back to the little village inside the farms. And I used to get off and we had to change clothes because back then you wore the same clothes all week, you know, your same jeans and all that. And we used to have to go find our grandfather out in the fields. And, you know, you'd pick cotton, you pick pecans till the sun went down. Then you go back and grandma and mom would have, you know, your papas and your beans and just eat and go about you the next day and go about it, do over and over, and it didn't hurt you. All it did was strengthen you and make you a strong man. You know, so what? You have done that, you know. So,
Chito, I told you this before, but I went out the other day and did it again because they were on sale. I got me some beautiful Air Jordan sneakers, man. Brand new Rollins basketball. Oh man, I got me a headband, Chito Reyes headband. I dressed up for the game, but nobody's there. So now that I have new shoes, new ball, Chito Reyes headband, you and me, bro.
Yeah.
In the South Basket at the Pan American Center. Nobody around. We'll get the maintenance guy to open up the door for just you and me.
You got it.
One-on-one.
Uh-huh.
Only not a game, real game, free throws. Only.
Oh, that's good. We could do that. I'll take you up on that. You buy me a burrito, whoever wins. You know?
Coach.
Yeah. And but you know what? That's one thing that you take pride. Coach Henson, you say they're giving you this free throw. Make it. Go ahead and you know they're giving it to you. They're not even contesting it. So why not make it? And Coach Henson used to stay there and used to have us around, and he would just shoot at the backspin and get the backspin, let it die up on the rim, and yeah, Henry, let's do that. We can do that, yeah, for.
And we won't tell anybody with the results unless I win.
Okay, you got it. We can do that.
So we got 40 seconds left. What's on your mind to say to the audience?
You know what? I once again, I just love being on your show. I'm proud to be on your show, and I just want to tell all the people out in New Mexico and everywhere, you know, how blessed and how grateful I am that way I've been treated. And I know I represented a lot of the young kids, and I would like to think that they didn't make a mistake in choosing me as one of their people that they want to idolize, and that I take pride, and I believe me, that's what a blessing it is to me. It makes me that much stronger. It makes me happier. It makes me want to live even longer like that because we've been blessed.
God bless you, brother. I love you like a brother, Chito Reyes.
You're mine. You're mine. Anyway, we got to stay bomb now. You know, so you got it.
Amen.
Okay,
what a story you tell. Amazing. One of a kind. Everybody tells me that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that story.
Thank you, my friend.
You don't need notes, Coach.
No, not at all. Not even worry about it. Yeah.
It's up here and then right here. God bless you. Have a great day in California.
Yeah, and God bless. Big hug to everybody out there, and God bless. Keep everybody safe. You know, so let's do that. Enjoy our life. Enjoy our blessings.
Amen. Say hi to Mama.
I will do that. Then. Take care. Bye now.
Take care.
Okay. All right now. Wow. Bye now.
What a star. What a good man. That's going to do it today. I want to say thank you to the best producer, Jimmy Tran, and the greatest director, Alden at ProView Network. Great guys. They support me. They put up with me. But I want to say thank you to them because we could not do this television magic without them. I love them like a brother too. Alden, Jimmy Tran, wow. And I love you being there every week with Henry T. We're going to just start getting real creative now. Go to the Lobo football game on Thursday night. Go get a ticket, support I mean, really support this team. And the new coach, Danny Gonzalez. Wow, it's going to be fun. I got me tickets. I have my press pass. Man, I'm going to be mingling in the stands with all of you. Let's get there and enjoy it. I don't mean 20,000 people. Let's fill the place. We're capable of doing that. Let's do it together. 45,000, 50,000. Why not? Let's get this season off with a kick in the rump, and let's really and thoroughly enjoy it. Have a great week. See you at the game. Thank you to all of you. Take care. And there's our sponsors again. Amistoy Drywall. Pierre Amistoy, hello. And Ben Lucero, big hello to you. And Richie and Kenny Tabbitt at Rax Lumber, and Kevin out there at the canteen, and the Baca family at Hydro Bar. Wow. And Chuck Jackson, Action Compaction, Chuck Jackson on 2nd Street. Thanks for being on this show, Chuck. Be careful on your way to the lake. See you later. Take care.
You guys are clear?
All right, Alden. I'm going to get some tennis